Dear Arewa, wake up. They have been looting your land while you were fighting their wars. This video is a wake-up call to the youths of Northern Nigeria. I want to talk to the youths of the North today. Not to attack you, not to insult you, not to score political points. I am talking to you because I am watching you die. I am watching...
He briefed me that some suspect is looking for hibernating in the government house. I looked at that. If that is true, why should suspects be in government house? But I've told him, as the police officer in charge, he has a way of going about all this.
All right, let the truth be told. The other day, VDM dropped his own truth to the North, and some of them appreciate him. People that have understanding, they appreciate what VDM said, saying this thing out. And some people that has that kind of mentality, we are kind of trying to, talk down on VDM. But that remains the truth. Now, the other time I brought a video where an Hausa leader from the North was saying that Nigerians should come and help them, that they are suffering in the hands of Fulanis, that they don't want anything Hausa Fulani again. They want to remain on their own, since everything politically, leadership goes to the hands of the Fulanis. So, but the only thing I know we can do for the North, the general problem, but not specifically, has very special issue. Like this Amajeri system, there is no other place in the world that they practice it. It's only in Northern Nigeria. So why? Can't you know that something is wrong somewhere there? Yeah? Training people moving, children moving up and down, carrying plates, people that are supposed to be somewhere, undergoing one form of education or even learning. That's one thing we don't do in the East. Yeah? People engage people, families engage families, outside family engage outsiders, learn hard work, learn something, handwork. So the person starts, life with it, and he's making money, you see. So the only thing we know that we can do for the North, majorly, is this kind of advice that we are talking now. Like, I'm going to show you one, a very big call coming from a lady, calling on Northerners to wake up. And this is the time to wake up, because something has gone bad, and it continues to go bad if nothing is done. And if something is done now, the physical effect cannot be felt maybe in 5 years' time. It will take years before you start seeing the good effect of what you have done. So without wasting much of your time, I want you to listen to this video. Share it with any Hausa person that you know, anybody from the North. Yes, because most of the things that the problem we are facing is as if it's coming from the North, and it is true. It's coming from the North. Boko Haram, all this terrorism from that side, terrorizing the whole country. What is the problem? Well, let's hear what this lady has to say. Don't miss it, don't miss any part of this video. It's vital. Watch this lady. He has something to tell the North. When we come back, I'm going to open up your eyes to more things that you need to know. Let's go.
Dear Arewa, wake up. They have been looting your land while you were fighting their wars. This video is a wake-up call to the youths of Northern Nigeria. I want to talk to the youths of the North today. Not to attack you, not to insult you, not to score political points. I am talking to you because I am watching you die. I am watching you kidnap each other for ransom and post it online like it is entertainment. I am watching your villages burn. I am watching your children beg on the streets of every city in Nigeria and beyond. I am watching you carry weapons for men who sleep in mansions in Abuja and send their own children to universities in London. And I need to ask you one question before we go further. After 60 years, what are you still afraid of? What trust are you still debating? Who told you that you cannot afford to unite with the rest of Nigeria? And why did it benefit them so much for you to believe it? Let's go. The lie they built your prison with. Let me show you the architecture of the cage. The elite of the North, the political class, the retired generals, the old guard that has rotated power among themselves since independence, built your loyalty on one foundation: fear of the other, fear of the Igbo, fear of the Yoruba, fear of the Christian, fear of anyone who does not look like them, pray like them, speak like them. Every election cycle, they come to you with the same sermon. You cannot trust them. They want to dominate you. They want to take what is yours. Vote for us. We are your protection. And you voted. And they won. And after 60 years of rotating presidency, northern generals, northern head of states, look around you. The North has the highest number of out-of-school children of any region on this planet. Not in Nigeria, on the planet. The North has the highest poverty rates in Nigeria, the highest malnutrition rates, the highest maternal mortality rates, the highest rate of banditry and kidnapping. They told you that your enemies were in the South. But the people who kept you poor are sleeping in your own backyard. 2, what is actually under your feet? Now, let me tell you what they never taught you in the school they told you not to attend. The north of Nigeria is sitting on some of the most valuable mineral wealth on this continent, and almost none of it is reaching you. Let me give you the receipts, state by state. Number 1, Zamfara State. Gold. So much gold that Nigeria ranks as Africa's 6th largest holder of gold reserves. Zamfara alone is one of the top producing states. The gold under Zamfara's ground is worth billions. The people of Zamfara are among the poorest in Nigeria. Katsina State. Katsina has gold, lithium, and mineral deposits spread across communities, where bandits have killed over 4,200 people between 2010 and 2023 alone. Bauchi State. 10 mineral deposits. Bauchi State has gold, cassiterite, columbites, wolfram, coal, limestone, iron ore. 10 in one state, called the glory of all lands, a glory that has never reached the people living on it. Kaduna State. Kaduna State has gold, columbite, tin. The Just Plateau, sitting between Kaduna and Plateau State, holds some of Nigeria's richest deposits of tantalum, niobium, and tungsten. Materials the world's electronics and aerospace industries cannot function without. Sokoto State. Sokoto State has gold, phosphate, glycine, limestone, potash, silica sand. Sokoto, one of the poorest states in Nigeria. Kebbi State. Kebbi has gold, manganese. Kebbi, where children are hungry. Borno State. Borno State has limestone, glycine, kaolin, diatomite, hydrocarbons. Borno, where Boko Haram has been burning schools for 15 years. Niger State. Niger State has gold, talc, marble, copper, iron, feldspar, limestone, and more. Niger State, where bandit attacks have displaced entire communities. Nasarawa State. Nasarawa has lithium, copper, crystal quartz, columbite, mica. Lithium, the single most important mineral for the global electrical vehicle revolution, under Nasarawa ground. This is what is beneath you. This is what they have been fighting over. This is what the violence is actually about. 3, the documented conspiracy. Now I'm going to give you names, not allegations. Names from documented investigations published by researchers, journalists, and Nigeria's own government officials. In late 2024, Nigeria's own Minister of Solid Mineral, Dele Alake, stood up and said publicly that powerful individuals engaged in illegal mining were sponsoring banditry in the country. The Minister of the Federal Government said it out loud. Senator Adams Oshomole alleged that retired military officers were coordinating illegal mining activities nationwide. retired military officers. A peer-reviewed research paper published in 2025 based on interviews with miners, community leaders, and security agents in Katsina and Zamfara found, and I am telling you what the research found, that bandits were colluding directly with political elites to engage in illegal gold mining. The elites provided protection. The bandits provided muscle. The gold moved out. The people stayed poor. Between 2018 and 2023 in Zamfara and Kaduna states alone, banditry deaths exceed 4,758 people, more deaths than Boko Haram caused in the same period in the northeast. And the gold kept moving. Here is where it goes. Investigators followed the trail. Nigeria undeclared gold, estimated at between 14 and 16 tons per year, against the declared production of less than 2 tons, moved through Niger, Togo, and Mali. It ends up in Dubai. From Dubai, it enters the global market clean, untraceable. Let me cite something for you. Bandits have been recorded boasting. We send our boys, and sometimes people from the city bring the money to us. Sometimes we send it to Dubai. That's a brag by bandits. People from the city. Those are your elites. The ones telling you to fear the Igbo man. The ones using your children as cannon fodder to clear land for their mining operations. And it is not just local elites. Another citation: collaboration between politically connected Nigerians and Chinese corporations in illegal gold mining is driving rural banditry and violent local conflicts across the northwest and north central region. Chinese nationals were arrested in Zamfara for illegal mining. Then, political godfathers pressured the government to release them. Your politicians releasing foreign criminals who were looting your land. Number 4, the Western education lie. Now let me address the weapon they used to keep you blind. They told the poor of the North that West education is haram, that it is forbidden, that it corrupts the soul. They told you this while sending their own children to Oxford, to Cambridge, to American University. They kept your children out of school, so your children could not read the contracts, could not understand the mining license, could not ask the question that will expose what was being taken from under their feet. Researchers have confirmed that a poor governance structure and a lack of income generating opportunity for youths are the factors that lead to the situation where groups of informants and security personnel collaborate to ensure that banditry and illegal money align to wreak havoc. Of course. They manufactured the poverty. They manufactured the ignorance. They manufactured the violence. And then they use the violence to take the resources that should have ended the poverty. This is not an accident. This is a system, a deliberate generational system designed to keep you exactly where you are, useful, afraid, and poor, so that the rest of us can suffer with you people. Meanwhile, they fund from Washington, they use their money to fund Boko Haram, to tell you book is a sin. They fund it with their money to keep you ignorant, so that we, the rest of us, can suffer in this geopolitical expression called Nigeria. Number 5, the unity they always prevented. I want you to think about one moment in Nigeria history. June 12, 1993, Moshood Abiola. The one time Nigeria came close to a genuine national unity that crossed tribe, religion, and region. A Muslim Yoruba man who won the North, who won everywhere, who spoke to something deeper than the division they have spent decades building. They annulled it. They have never allowed that moment to happen again. Every election cycle, they make sure the North is fighting the South. The Muslim is fighting the Christian. The Hausa is suspicion of the Igbo. Because the moment you stop fighting each other, the moment Arewa youths look at Ododowa youths and Biafra youths and see the same hunger, the same stolen future, the same elite sitting on their wealth, that is the moment the whole system collapses. They are not afraid of your weapon. They are afraid of your unity. And your unity is your greatest weapon. So I am speaking to you directly. Arewa youths, the ones dying in the fields, the ones carrying guns for men who will never carry guns themselves, the ones begging on streets, paved over mineral wealth that belongs to them. After 60 years, what are you still afraid of? The oil money is gone. The world has moved to lithium, to gold, to the mineral sitting under your feet. And the same people who told you the oil was Nigeria's lifeline, they are already positioned to steal what comes next while you are still fighting the war they designed for you. You are not poor because Nigeria is poor. You are not poor because the South is stealing from you. You are poor because the people who looked like you, pray like you, speak like you, have been looting your land, funding your killers, and keeping your children out of school. And they tell you to blame someone else. That ends when you decide it ends. The power is in your hands. That ends when you decide it ends. Not when they give you permission. Not when the next election comes. When you open your eyes and see clearly what has been done to you and by whom. The minerals are there. The receipts are there. The names are there. The only thing missing is your refusal to keep playing the game they built for you. Wake up. My name is Inye. And I wished Arewa youth will wake up. Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart. So we can make this country a great country. Share this video. If you are an Hausa person, translate this video. Thank you for watching. Join me on YouTube in case this page disappears. Because my next videos, I am going to go head on. Name the names and put their faces to it.
Alright. Is there any other thing that is remaining? She has said it all. In fact, I appreciate that talk coming from that woman. She has done wonderfully well. There is nothing else she can do for the North, if not this kind of talk. Talk sense into people. Yes, generally there is problem, but, this particular one is about the North. Yes, talk to them and let them see it and, take corrections. Let me tell you, that video self has Hausa interpretation. So if you don't understand English, you can read the Hausa there for you to understand what she's saying. Vital. Well, I said I'm going to show you people very, very interesting discussions on what is going on. Nigeria, my country, Nigeria, something has to be done to this country so that things will start going on well. People are dying every day, kidnapping in hundreds. What kind of country is that? Are you going to call it a country? Where people's rights and freedom cannot be guaranteed. What a country. Let's go.
Now, to a new explosive details that are emerging in the presidency's fake agency scandal. And they are raising far more questions than the presidency's statement has answered. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Temitope Ajayi, has confirmed that the police established Adeyemi's appointment letter was forged, stating that the chief of staff to the president, Femi Gbajabiamila, does not issue appointment letters and that only the secretary to the government of the federation does, making Adeyemi's claim a red flag from the start. Let's take a look.
We don't know yet how he got a forged letter of appointment. It is clear, I've seen the police report, that the signature of the chief of staff to the president was forged. And then if you have seen the letterhead on which the so-called appointment was written, it shows that the State House letterhead was also forged State House letterhead. Because on the State House letterhead, there is no contact telephone address or contact telephone number on State House letterhead. On his own, on his purported appointment letter, there is, so anybody who understands the way the system works, we know that this is pure scam and forged document.
Well, in the meantime, an independent investigation by a civil society organization, Good Governance Group, has uncovered a far more alarming layer to this story. While Prince Adeyemi, the DG of the fake agency, was arrested in October 2025 and charged in November 2025, the budget code titled Presidential Economic Advisory Council, Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council was quietly inserted into the 2026 executive budget during the very same months with a 1.3 billion naira allocation. And here is the crucial detail that explains how it slipped through. The name Presidential Economic Advisory Council was not invented. It was borrowed from a real Buhari-era body established in September 2019 with real members, a real mandate, and a legitimate place in government records that was never formally dissolved when Tinubu came to power. A budget reviewer seeing that name would not immediately flag it as suspicious because something by that name genuinely existed under a previous president. That is the camouflage. 10 specific program lines, detailed submissions written in correct budget language, and it survived every single review stage and was signed into law by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on April 17, 2026. 3 senior civil servants were officially posted to the fake agency by the Office of the Accountant General, sitting in an empty office for weeks with absolutely nothing to do. Ayo, this investigation reveals that Adeyemi allegedly borrowed the same name of a dormant Buhari-era body, inserted it into Nigeria's budget with 10 specific program lines. He secured office space at the Federal Secretariat and had 3 civil servants officially posted to him by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, all with a forged letter. And yet, despite being arrested in October 2025 and charged in November 2025, Adeyemi is not behind bars. Nigerians are asking so many questions. Ayo, Serap has responded, but I'd like your comment before I read part of Serap's response.
All right, thank you. So I think this is like an onion.
Yes.
The more you unravel, the more you see more to unravel, and many questions.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why it's important for us to get to the bottom of this matter and why, thankfully, we cannot afford to sweep it under the carpet is that it is such a huge, huge scandal. And it points to, even leave the scandalous part of it, is that it would also point us to areas that we institutionally need to address, where there are gaps, where there are holes, where there are opportunities for forgery. Because like Dr. Fagbemi, who was our guest earlier on, had said, it's like we need to now even protect the president, because if somebody can take on this level of fraud, how many more exist within the presidency? How many agencies are there that are fake? How many people are in positions where they are hosting international potential investors and do not have any kind of formal recognition, and it's a forward position? And then I dare say that you cannot embark on this level of forgery at the level of government that Mr. Adeniyi did without Prince. Well, we need to verify if he's really a prince, because now we have to really verify everything about the man and see to what extent he is true. But it would be a shock to me and surprising if a man like this can take on this kind of fraud without an insider. It would almost be impossible. Because a few questions that have been asked in public space. Number one is that there was a budget defense that was done. Yes, I understand he used the name that existed, but who represented that agency in the budget defense? Was anybody there to represent if there was anything at all? Who signed the appointment letter? They say it was forged, but it means that someone can forge a document at that level and it would pass through to the extent of opening a CBN account. There are questions to be asked, and I'm sorry, heads have to roll. If not, we will not learn lessons. Because how are we sure that the man that is standing behind the president protecting him was given an appointment letter that was not on a forged letterhead? It compromises.
I'm open.
What I'm saying is, I'm just saying that if this can happen, anything can happen. And for the credibility of this government, they must find out and get to the bottom of this, so that we do not have thousands. We have ghost workers. Now we now have forged agencies and ghost agencies that should not exist and are receiving budgetary allocation. So for the good of this nation and to engender trust with the people, we have to get to the bottom. Who are those? In fact, Dr. Fabemi suggested earlier on that some principal people should go on administrative leave until this matter is fully addressed, investigated. Agencies are created by law, but okay, DG's office, the office of whatever it is that he was occupying. There are many areas where this happened, and if a fake, well, they called it a fake agency. So whoever created the agency, if one could have existed and had such backings, including a CBN TSA account, questions must be asked, and we have to get to the bottom of this.
All right, I'll take a tweet from Sarah. They wrote, "We've urged the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, to urgently disclose certified copies of all documents relating to the consideration and approval of the allocation of over 1.3 billion naira to the Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, Presidential Economic Advisory Council in the 2026 Appropriation Act. We also urge them to provide certified copies of records identifying the members of the National Assembly committees that considered the allocation and the names and official designation of all public officers or representatives who appeared before those committees to defend the proposed allocation. Nobody has a more sacred obligation to obey the law than those who make the law. The National Assembly ought to keep an eye on what the executive is doing and to keep the presidency and agencies of government in check, including before and during the appropriation process, by thoroughly scrutinizing executives' budget proposal before any authorization." I mean, very well said. For me, this is where the ball was dropped. At the National Assembly, the Budget Office, again, the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. How did this slip the crack? You want to speak, Dr. Bater?
Sarah is making that request under the FOI Act.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not just enough to say this is what Serap is saying.
Correct.
But, you know, the application should go under the FOI Act.
Right.
And I hope that the National Assembly will respect that request.
Okay.
I think one part we're not talking about is, we keep saying, yes, this person dropped the ball. But there's been a mail trail hitherto. There's been constant correspondence between this fake agency, Office of the Accountant General, Office of this and that, even the Senate, as regards training and all of that. So everybody is complicit in this. It's deeper than you think. Because all those correspondence over the weekend are now coming out. So it's not just a new thing. Another question you should ask is, when the NIPC flagged it that you have a duplicity of duty, after the NIPC flagged it, the Chief of Staff minuted on it, and then this still went through in the budgets. That shows another layer of complicity. So when they keep calling this agency fake, they say, yes, agencies are created by law. I like to take that being fake with a pinch of salt. Because there were hitherto correspondence across all of this ecosystem. Another part of this puzzle, we need to now go back and investigate this Tani Mola person. The condition of his death, the credibility of his death. I mean, we all know the Gloria Okon situation in this country. Nigeria is a very interesting country. So the investigation is just even starting, if they allow it to happen.
Yes, you're right. The investigation is
it's
just
very ugly. It speaks to incompetence, it speaks to institutional failure and lack of credibility.
Yes, well, the police is saying those fake correspondence have been identified as fake, so we need to see more of that sort of investigation. They have Temitope Ajayi says that the letter that he saw from the police says that Femi Gbajabiamila's letter was forged, his signature was forged, and in any case, it's not the office of the Chief of Staff that gives appointment letters. It is the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation that gives the appointment letter. So that settles that at this point. Now, a statement from the US Congressman Riley Moore is generating fierce reactions in Nigeria after he declared in a recent statement that the United States will be paying very close attention to how Nigeria's 2027 elections are executed. Let's take a look.
As you may be aware, the elections are upcoming next year in Nigeria, 2027.
I'm aware.
Is there anything more that the United States can be doing in support, either politically or other ways, that really allow for a fair and free election over there, as opposed to just a formality?
Yeah, what I'd say is that we're certainly going to be watching these results and how these elections unfold and how they're executed. And that's something that myself and the administration are going to be paying very close attention to.
Now, Moore's comments come against the backdrop of growing concerns about electoral integrity ahead of 2027, and Nigerians are reacting with a mix of skepticism and cautious hope. Many are questioning whether U.S. scrutiny will actually change anything on the ground, while others welcome any pressure that could deter electoral malpractice. And I'll take some reactions. Evelyn wrote on X, America paying close attention to Nigeria's election while INEC and the judiciary are still sorting out 2023 is noted. Attention is fine. The question is, what comes after it? Because international observation without consequence has never stopped anything in Nigeria. David wrote on X, well, we have heard this music before. USA should learn to back up words with action, sanction, freeze assets, and if possible, arrest election riggers when they come to America. Also reject rigged elections and don't recognize any government that come in through rigged elections. Rufai, your thoughts before I take more.
I mean, Oji, yes, America has said this constantly, but the question is, yes, I think in some areas they did mete out some decisions, you know, in the past for people, you know, based on the Magnitsky Act and all of that. But see, one thing I've come to notice is this. America is a sovereign nation with interests. Once a political dynamics is completed, America will normally align and try to work with whoever is a beneficiary of that election. Right. Let's not deceive ourselves. This is just rhetoric. They say this all the time, but it doesn't mean it's practical. But I also want to flip it by asking, if the tables were turned, do we go and inspect or have a word on American elections? It's just because of this unequal balance in the world that some people are getting excited that America that has its own interests. Are Americans' elections too clean? Have you not heard accusation or counter-accusation about the elections in America itself?
Right.
Is it not the same American elections that you have a lot of back and forth as regards Russian interference? So the question I ask, who makes them the police of the world anyway? Economic power makes them the police of the world. Maybe when we to grow that kind of economic power, we'll be able to have that influence. Maybe that's why Trump can call FIFA president and say, reverse red card for Fulani, and red card was reversed. I think what we should do and look at internally is how we can also have our elections here that can be credible. We've done it in the past. We did it in 2015. I mean, that was an election where the winners and losers accepted their fates. Right. Not to say there was no rigging in 2015, but there was some level of civility. Why can't we, also do things better here? But all this America will intervene in our life.
Rufai, because I teased that story in the headline, the red card thing. No, it's okay. I wanted to just ask. They said Folarin did not deserve the red card. Is that something that you want? Is it true? He deserved the red card. Okay, all right, fine, fantastic.
I'm sorry I teased it.
No, it's perfect. I wanted to just say because I teased it. That you say he deserved. Plenty people are saying that he doesn't.
They've analyzed it and it was a well-earned.
It was okay, fine. Yes. All right, fine. Now we told you we'll be reading your comments, and we'll take this comment from Noah on Leke regarding this U.S. election story. Noah wrote on Leke, the United States will closely monitor the 2027 Nigeria's election, said Congressman Riley Moore. The question is, does that change anything? Will your report even hold water? Is it not clear that the Nigerian government chooses the report that pleases the government, not the truth? Well, let's keep monitoring, at least for record purposes, and that will be all. Well, thank you to our viewers. Thank you for sharing your posts with us from Leke. We'll continue to highlight posts from Leke as well. Let's now highlight this story that reads like fiction, but is devastatingly real. In 2007, a 14-year-old Gospel Kinan from Ogoniland in River State disappeared without a trace, breaking the hearts of his parents, who both died in quick succession, never knowing what happened to their son. 18 years later, Gospel has now been found, not at home, not abroad, but inside the Nigerian Correctional Center in Port Harcourt. He is now 33 years old. Arise News correspondent Ovieteme George covered the story.
That very fateful day, we were in the house between 8 to 9 o'clock, from 9 o'clock to 10 till morning. We don't see him. My mother could not go anywhere, nobody go anywhere. We were searching for him here and there. Even this prison yard, this collectional center, we go there almost 2 times.
Gospel's disappearance dealt his parents a fatal blow.
My mother be the first person to think and worry, saying different things, and died. Then my father also died on the spot of this thing. And we were just like that.
Fortune, however, smiled on Paul when a legal practitioner took him to the correctional center to see someone he thought could be his missing brother.
When I get there, I just come in. I saw my brother outside, where he was sitting down. If you look at him, it's like a no human being again. He was there, started crying. He was normal, but get there, he become abnormal. I need justice. Because a whole man cannot just be taken away from us, no information, no case file, nothing about him. And then drop in the prison yard for 18 years, good 18 years. Now he come back, become nonsense on earth. No, there must be justice about it.
Really heartbreaking. Thank you, Ovieteme George, for uncovering this story. Now, Gospel's mental health is now a serious concern after 18 years of incarceration, and a 10 billion naira lawsuit has been filed against both the federal government and River State government over his wrongful detention. But here's the question that demands an answer. Who put a 14-year-old child behind bars? And why did nobody come looking for him for 18 years? Dr. Abat.
No, indeed. His family looked for him. They went to hospitals. But the correctional center where he was eventually found, his brother said they had been there twice.
Yes.
But what is the problem? He is known in that correctional center as Baridi Sunday. But they were looking for a person
exactly.
who had been given another name by the correctional center, a new name, Baridi Sunday. So they were looking for Gospel Kinan, but the man inside the custody was a Baridi Sunday, who did not exist to his family. Now, this is part of the problem with the administration of justice in Nigeria and with human dignity. This young man was said to have left home 18 years ago. At the time, he was 14 years old, and then he disappeared. Now, there's nowhere in Nigerian laws where wandering or loitering is an offense. There are many more of such persons that will be either in police detention or in correctional centers who were just arrested for wandering or for loitering. They will ask you, where is your identity card? You cannot produce it. The police will just dump you in their van, and from there you find yourself in prison for no offense whatsoever. This Baridi Sunday, he could have died in the correctional center, except that Justice Simeon Amadi, because chief judges have the right sometimes to go to prisons and to try to do a review and free people. That's how he got lucky. Some people never get lucky. They die in custody. So this is the problem with, the protection of human dignity, the human beings, a person's right to life in this country. And this is, again, to use the phrase about institutional failure. And that's why we urge that there should be, in fact, an audit of all persons in our prisons or correctional centers, they now call them, who are awaiting trial persons or are persons, who have not been taken to court, whose offenses are even unknown. Those prisons are congested. The point has been made. And many of the persons there, they don't even know their offense. They don't even know who their contact persons are. And I think that to the extent that the responsibility of government is to ensure our fundamental human rights under Chapter 4 of the Constitution, this is a very embarrassing outcome. And I hope that the state And whoever is behind his unlawful detention for 18 years, he practically has lost his life. He now has mental issues. We ensure that he is properly rehabilitated, given treatment, and compensated, and that his family will perhaps also file a suit immediately against the Nigerian government, to enforce its fundamental human rights under the laws of Nigeria.
Well, very well said, Dr. Bati. Thank you for your submission. Now let's take a look at some security stories. After more than 2 months in captivity, worshippers abducted during a Christ Apostolic Church crusade in Eda Onyo, in Ekiti State, have finally regained their freedom. The victims were kidnapped on April 28th after gunmen stormed the church, killed the officiating pastor, and abducted 16 worshippers. Now here is the moment the abductees regained their freedom, which has since gone viral. Well, the community had reportedly raised 10.5 million naira, but the captives remained in the forest for over 2 months, enduring starvation, beatings, and severe abuse. Well, Nigerians are happy that the Ekiti victims are now free, but several other kidnapping victims, including students abducted in Oyo State, remain in captivity. The latest rescue has renewed calls for more proactive intelligence and faster security responses to prevent attacks before they occur. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has reaffirmed Nigeria's strong diplomatic ties with the Vatican, pledging continued support for interfaith dialogue as a tool to tackle Nigeria's security challenges. Tinubu rolled out the red carpet for Paul Gallagher, the Holy See's Secretary for Relations with States, at his residence over the weekend, ushered by Foreign Affairs Minister Bianca Ojukwu. The president said his administration remains committed to peace and religious harmony among Nigeria's diverse faith communities. Well, in Osun State, a dramatic confrontation as the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, paid a visit to Governor Ademola Adeleke at the government house in Osogbo and dropped a bombshell, alleging that criminal suspects wanted by the police are hiding inside the government house itself. Let's take a look.
I tell you, sir, that I've not had complaints here, there, and everywhere I have lied, and I will explain everything to you one by one, sir. I've heard that we are not happy, and some people are not happy with the Commissioner of Police for this reason and that reason. He too has briefed me. He briefed me that some suspect is looking for hibernating in the government house. I looked at that. If that is true, why should suspects be in government house? But I've told him, as the police officer in charge, he has a way of going about all this. And I've heard that this party and that party are hibernating suspects, criminals.
Well, Governor Ademola Adeleke fired back, flatly denying the claims and issuing a striking personal challenge to the Inspector General of Police, declaring that if his own son is found guilty of any crime, he should be arrested. Now, with the Osun governorship election fast approaching, allegations of political interference, police neutrality, and the alleged harboring of criminal suspects are set to remain at the very center of this campaign. Nigerians are watching. Still in Osun State, an update on the Uni Osun assault scandal. The Depot Nigeria Army Oshogbo, in a viral post on X, says it has not yet received any formal complaint, medical report, or credible evidence to substantiate the rape allegations by students of Uni Osun. The army says it has launched a transparent investigation into allegations and is urging any victim or witness to come forward and present evidence directly to its board of inquiry. I mean, Ayo, can you imagine that? We're hearing, I mean, we did have a video about this woman saying that she was pushed to the door. She was, molested by the army. Yet the army says they don't have more evidence. They don't have enough evidence. Maybe we can send them that video one more time so they can see and maybe question the young woman who says that she was molested, really. But I'd like to take this story before I come to you, then you tie everything in together. And over in Edo State, traditional priests, priestesses, and worshippers have gathered in Benin City on the directive of Oba Ewari II to perform ancestral rites against kidnappers, bandits, and other violent criminals. A video of the ceremony began trending over the weekend, showing a procession from the Oba's palace with libations, traditional rituals, and prayers invoking ancestral judgment on all criminals and their collaborators. Let's take a look. The Benin Palace says the rights are meant to complement, not replace government security efforts. Remember, we took this story and we told you that the Oba of Benin will lay a course on these kidnappers really quickly because we don't have time.
So that, once you deliver, you said it was going to happen and it has happened. Let's see to what extent that would solve the problem. But we have real issues on our hands, Oji, and you've just taken us through some security, very important security updates. The first one, the Ekiti kidnap victims. I don't know how many people watched that with their heart breaking, and it was a very difficult video to watch. And that is the price that you pay when you leave kidnapped victims in captivity for so long. There are still big questions to be answered. Thank God that these people are now back home, but who effected their release? Again, we ask, was anyone arrested? What kind of rescue operation happened? Because people are saying that they raised money for their ransom. Is this what we have descended to? A country where criminals make money after almost destroying the lives of... Look at the young people. Look at the women. This is a time when the nation ought to be crying at what we have turned our people to. Young people, even older people. It's a very difficult video to watch. And I believe that this brings again to light that we still have children and adults, teachers, still in captivity from the Oyo State kidnapping, and nothing. They're entering their own 60th day very soon, and we haven't yet seen anything. I hope that there will be a lot of social, psychological support for these people, and I pray that they'll be able to be rehabilitated back into society. It is a very sad scene to watch. Them
home. Now to some cultural pride on the global stage, as Nigerian masquerades and traditional dancers stole the show at the World Trade Organization's Open Day in Geneva. The WTO threw open its doors to the public on Sunday, giving visitors a chance to tour the organization's headquarters, learn about its work, and admire the artworks on display. Director General Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala took to X to share highlights. Let's take a look. This was amazing. Other participating nations included China and Egypt, and all those countries were together performing their open day right there at the WTO office. Weren't you proud to see this woman dancing? And it was beautiful to see. Now, over in the United States, the skies lit up with fireworks as the nation marked its 250th anniversary of independence over the weekend, one of the biggest celebrations in American history. President Donald Trump addressed hundreds of thousands of Americans on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., declaring the United States the crowning achievement of human history. Let's take a look.
In all the chronicles of the ages, never before has any nation celebrated so magnificent a triumph as this one. We are the freest people on earth. And by the grace of God, the United States of America is the most successful, most accomplished, most exceptional nation ever to exist in human history. Liberty has prevailed here because of the culture and character of the people who declared it, defended it, and preserved it. We reach a milestone like no other and celebrate with joyful hearts and soaring spirits because after 2.5 centuries, we know that this is not an ending. This is only the beginning of the golden age of America. Happy Independence Day to all. God bless you all. God bless you all.
Congratulations, America. The celebrations were extraordinary. President Trump described America as the greatest country in the world. He also honored the American astronauts who orbited the moon in April.
All right, viewers, I thank you for coming along with me in this video. Please, if you have not subscribed to YangaLife channel, please click on the subscription button, notification bell, like this video, and don't forget to share it. I am still Chinedu. Till I come your way next time. Bye.